Sometimes we blame it on our hormones. We blame it on our stress. We blame it on our mood. But you know what? There's actually real overlooked root causes to these cravings that we have. And today we have part 2 with Dr. Jessie, and she is going to fill us in on what they are. And this is true. When we get to the root, that is where there's healing. So let's go. Hey mama, are you overwhelmed by your full, blessed life? Do you feel stuck in the messy, mundane middle? Then I'm so glad you're here to take a breath. Hey, I'm Shan Wright, RN, holistic wellness coach, and a mom to 4 that went from perfectionism, control, and lots of anxiety to intentionally living through simple solutions and so much peace. If you are done with the stressed out life, hot mess express type of motherhood, then heat up that coffee again and let's live holistically well in the middle. Let's go. It was funny because you had this McFlurry with the keys for representing the McFlurry. And it's like, oh, yeah, I have a craving for McFlurry. Like, I want that. I want sugar, right? I have a craving for sugar. I know you have a whole thing on cravings and how we can really find out the root cause of them.
Sure. So the first commonly overlooked root cause of cravings that I'll speak to is being on the blood sugar roller coaster. And what that entails is fundamentally eating in a way, and I'll say a little bit more about that in a moment, that causes our blood sugar to go up really high. And what happens when our blood sugar goes up really high, we have this hero hormone called insulin that comes in to help bring down our blood sugar because our body doesn't like it when our blood sugar is really high, but it's a little overly zealous, right?
Yeah.
It goes in there and helps clear that glucose, but then that blood sugar goes down low. Now it's too low. Our body doesn't like that either. So when our blood sugar is too low, which again follows too high, we end up with the craving. So there's this physiological response that happens where we are going to be craving things that brings our blood sugar up quickly. And those are typically going to be the same things that spiked it, right? That's going to be the obvious sources of sugar, the simple carbs, whether it's bread or rice or pasta. All of those things have the same impact on our blood sugar. So blood sugar roller coaster is commonly overlooked problem. And one of the ways we can know that is by looking at all the labs. You could certainly look at your experience and just, look at what you've had the last few days and when you had cravings, and you would probably see if this area is one for you, you would see the tendencies, but also our labs can give us a hint if this is something to look at. And I'm thinking about fasting glucose, fasting insulin, hemoglobin A1C.
Okay.
And one of my wishes for people is that they really become my little company's called Well Empowered, and I want people to be well empowered. I want them to be empowered to understand their wellness and their health. So you'll hear me referencing some labs because I want people to know what is happening in their body. Yeah, and lab normal and optimal are two totally different things. So, with that, for example, fasting insulin's a great example. It won't even be looked at because they'll say, oh, your fasting glucose looks great. Your hemoglobin A1C looks great. That's not the full story. We want to see fasting insulin. I want to see it at 7 or less. And lab normal can go up to 18 or 20. So blood sugar roller coaster, number 1 overlooked cause of cravings. Number 2, interestingly enough, is related to nutrient deficiencies or insufficiencies. And this is because our nutrients actually play a role in our capacity to feel satiated, right? To feel like, wow, I've just been fed or not, or to feel hunger. So there are different nutrients that will play a role in this, but I'm thinking about things like omega-3 fatty acids. I'm thinking about vitamin D to some extent. I'm thinking about even B12 and folate. All of these magnesium, all of these play a different role in whether we're feeling cravings or not. But again, these nutrients are all things that I look at when I'm, doing a thorough lab workup so that we can optimize these numbers.
Okay.
The third thing that I would look at that's commonly overlooked is a disruption of the microbiome. And the microbiome, these are the good bacteria that live in our body and mostly in our colon or
Mm-hmm.
large intestine, same place, two different words for it. But in that colon, in your colon or large intestines where our microbiome lives, when there's a disruption, so who should be there, who shouldn't be there, kind of a disruption, the change in microbes can actually lead to cravings. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Some of those microbes even play a role in that blood sugar roller coaster. So there are different ways they impact our ability to feel satiated or not. There's one superstar microbe rather, bacteria called Akkermansia,
Yeah.
AKK, Akkermansia. You know this? Yeah, and Akkermansia is just, it is amazing the positive impact it will have on the blood sugar roller coaster. Now, it's never the only thing I would use alone, but it's certainly it's a real powerful tool to use in minimizing cravings and supporting blood sugar.
Yeah.
So that's just one example. Also, on the other side, we'll see people who have increased levels of yeast or candida. And when that yeast or candida, this is elevated, it's one of many microbes that will feed into cravings, right? That candida, that yeast, it hijacks your brain and causes you to crave the things that it needs to live.
Yes.
Well, what does it need to live?
Sugar.
Sugar. Exactly.
I
Shannon's
know
like,
this too well. I know this
yes,
one too well.
yes, right. Okay, good. Experientially, like in your
Yes.
body. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
right, right. So you know it,
It's
right? So
frustrating too.
yeah, yeah. But it is a breakable, first of all, it's like, okay, it takes a second, but it is definitely something that is addressable,
Yeah.
right? When Candida's gone wild, it's like, okay, it's not going to take very long, but we can get this, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that disruption of the microbiome can be a real stinker for sure. The other thing that I would point to is, simply put, our learned stress response,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We all have our go-to kind of like knee-jerk ways of coping.
Yeah.
And we've learned those, just like we were talking about in it earlier, right? We've learned those maybe in our home of origin, or maybe from our partner, or maybe from the world at large, or maybe we invented them at some point, right?
Yeah.
But whatever the case may be, we all have our habits helping ourselves feel better when we're stressed out.
Yeah.
And I think it's helpful to just step back and see. Again, we were talking about shame earlier, right? No, like, let's just see your good intentions there. You're a human being and you're trying to feel better than
Yeah.
you do right now. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're trying to self soothe in some way, shape, or form. So, if we can drop any shame about that and start to get curious about perhaps a way to self soothe that's more aligned with your intentions, or a way to make some shifts that reduces the overwhelm that may be showing up more frequently than ideal, right? Listen, there's some things you're not going to be able to undo, right? Your kid wakes up in the middle of the night. Yeah, you're going to go take care of your kiddo, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things we can't undo, but can we start to look at, okay, what might I be able to do? I
Yeah.
might be able to start prioritizing those 2 minutes in the morning. And then just looking at new ways, developing new rituals for self-soothing. They might still involve food or beverages, but maybe they're just ones that are more aligned, right? Maybe it's 5 chocolate covered almonds rather than, a sleeve of cookies,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's some hot tea with a little dab of honey in it rather than the soda, right? So there are a lot of different ways you could look at reworking this. And my hope is that, for those of you who see you might have this habit of self-soothing in a way that is, kind of a craving showing up, you might find a way to play a better game in this area,
Yeah.
giving up the perfect game and stepping into a better game. And then, the last thing that I'd speak to.
That's a bell, another bell, but not because someone else needs you, because you need you. If you're a nurse, caregiver, healthcare professional, always helping others and not ever helping yourself, Now is the time to take a look at your own stress level. What is stress doing to your body internally, externally? How is it coming out? Where is your stress? And are you headed to burnout? Are you already in burnout? Don't ignore the signs and symptoms that are coming up all the time because you're caring for others and not yourself. Our stress builds, and then one day we realize we're in burnout. And that is why I'm offering you a free stress assessment call. This is a short, personalized session, one-on-one, where we're going to uncover your current stress level, what's actually causing it, and your next best step to get relief. You don't have to figure this out alone. You don't have to wonder, am I in burnout? You don't have to wonder if I'm headed there fast. Go right now to bit.ly/stress assessment call. Let's catch the stress before it leads to burnout. Go now and book your call today.
In the way of what, lead to more cravings is the way we set up our environment, right? Our environment itself does call us to be a certain way. If you walk into your kitchen and on the countertop, you are greeted by the chocolate chip cookies that you say to yourself, I can't resist those. Like you already know, like game over when you see the chocolate chip cookies or the brownies or whatever the thing might be. If you're greeted by that, that visual cue is going to kick in the craving. So I'm not suggesting if you're sitting there going, well, I'm not getting the chocolate chip cookies out of the house. That's your choice. I'm not going to deny that of you, but maybe you just change where they live. Right? Maybe on your countertop, you start to put avocados or bananas, apples, whatever the fruit of the season is, whatever it is, but looking at how do you create a visual cue that actually pulls you to nourish yourself in a way that has you be proud of yourself.
Wow. I love that. Just going on that last one, I think we do not appreciate our senses. And, your sense of smell is so strong. It can take you back years and years and years. If you just smell the baked bread, you're going to want it. You have the stressor comes in and you're like, all right, I'm done.
Literally, Shan. And, one of the things I say, right, there's lead me not into temptation, right? Lead yourself not into temptation, right? You actually have say in this area of life. You have say, lead yourself not into temptation. In most areas we do, at least to some extent.
Yeah. I love that. And even like you said, just the placement, I probably have that argument too. We have some treats for the kids that I will not partake in, but they're definitely in my house. And so they're going to stay in the pantry, door shut, out of my vision. And I actually do so much better with that than where they used to live, on the counter in a presentable way. These little tips and tricks can go a long way.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you use them, right? So they really work. They really do work. And even just little things where when you walk into your coffee shop to grab something, don't have a stare down with the brownies. If you know the brownies are going to win that game, don't look at them. Actually avert your eyes.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking with our senses is what we're filling our feed with, whether it's on our phone or on the TV. It's like we see the commercials are there for a reason. The ads show up for a reason. You can, like you said, you have control of that. You can curate that. And if you know that that's a sensitive spot, you could watch healthy recipes. You could go to some videos for some healthy recipes and get your cravings going in the opposite way.
Love it. I love that, Shan. Such a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everything that you said was so good. I'm trying to think of the mom who she has cravings. She struggles with cravings. She struggles with wanting the sugar and the carbs and the self-soothing in her stressful state of busy life, busy kids, all of that. And then a lot of times, if you don't plan, dinner is just a sore spot. It's what is the fastest thing? And it very rarely is a healthy meal. So what can she do to help herself easy? What's the first step that you would take when she's feeling overwhelmed? She wants to get these cravings under control, but all five is I can't conquer all five right now.
100%. I'm so glad you asked. The first thing I would do in the midst of her busy day is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful things and maybe more challenging, but it is to start the day with a meal, like actually do eat, don't not eat. um,
Yeah.
and have it be something that is protein fat centric. Because out of the gate, you're going to get yourself on a nice, steady place and practice that. Have that be the one thing you practice over and over and over again, and see what you can do to come up with solutions that work for your life and your body and all the different things that you're juggling. So this could be as simple as this could be a couple of eggs with a half of an avocado, one example. It could be something like a smoothie, being mindful of the fruit, just because if you're doing the smoothie pre-made. I did a video on Instagram the other day, and it's, looking at Jamba Juice as part of the conversation. And there are small smoothies that have upwards of 70 grams of sugar, right?
Mm.
You can take that sugar up real fast with those smoothies, which is why I would suggest homemade, get a
Yeah.
little bit curious about grams of sugar in that fruit, right? That sort of thing. But you could also do something even easier. If dairy is your friend, then you could do something like cottage cheese and avocado,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pretty easy. You could have that done lickety split. You could do something like there's a great grain free, I'm not anti grain, but we're talking about really being protein fat centric. So in service of that, you could do something like there's a cereal called Wella, Wella.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it on Amazon. You can put it in the fridge the night before with your liquid of choice, whether it's water or coconut milk or, whatever your milk is of choice. Maybe stir in a little protein powder, collagen I like for skin, whey I like for muscles. I usually do a little bit of both, but whatever the case may be, stir
Yeah.
that in right where you want to be. Right. So I'm offering possible solutions to help you brainstorm, but like you, the individual, it will require some thinking about what am I willing to do? What do I enjoy from a palatability standpoint? I think you should enjoy your food, playing with that a little bit to come up with some solutions that maybe you have maybe two or three that you just swap back and forth throughout the week.
Yeah. I think that's great for our moms to hear.
Yes.
You shared so much good stuff, but I want you to leave our listeners with the mom who is struggling with her weight. It's consuming her thoughts.
Yes.
She does not have body freedom right now. She feels like she's always worried about what she's eating and her size, and then trying to deal with the stressors of life. What kind of encouragement can you give to her about her body and honoring her holistic health to lead her in a point of where she can find freedom someday?
Yeah. So I'll offer three things. First of all, if what Shan just said speaks to you, I'd like you to slow down. Think of one thing you would like to thank your amazing body for. And if you are here with us today, to me, what's front and center is you're a mom.
Mm-hmm.
For many of you, that means your baby grew inside of you. For some of you, that means your baby didn't grow inside of you, but you use your body every day to care for your baby or your children,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, first of all, just really, what would you like to thank your body for? Like if you were talking to a friend, what would you thank it for? The second thing I would say is stepping into a new conversation with yourself that brings grace to the forefront. And
Mm-hmm.
that conversation is, what's the best game I could play right now? What's the best game I could play right now? And really playing that game with yourself for yourself. And so that might really look like I could have 4 pieces of pizza instead of 6. Okay, play that game.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might look like I could have salad with my pizza. Or it might look like I'm going to be a no to the wine tonight or to the extra glass, right? So I give you all these variations in hope that you can really honor where you are, because this to me is like crossing the monkey bars of change. And mostly people fall off the monkey bars and don't get any farther because they expect perfection. And they also expect to go from the first monkey bar to the last monkey bar overnight. That's not happening, right? So can you meet yourself where you are and play your best game right now and be proud of yourself? And that leads me to the third one, which is really getting present to what your personal intention is for your health in your life. And by that, I mean, if you were to time travel to the 5-year future, what would your health be like? And what would it be like to be in your body and maybe get dressed and walk around the world and interact with people? Like if you could click your heels, what would that experience be like for you? My encouragement is you ponder that is to actually take out a pen and paper and write this down. Like really do some daydreaming about the 5-year future you envision, you desire, you intend. And stay present to that because what you write, you will capture the what and the why. And the what by itself is not compelling. And that's the number on the scale or the size of your jeans. That what, if that were compelling, you wouldn't still be struggling. But when you get clear on your personal why, and I know for all you listeners, it has something to do about how you show up for yourself and for others, and maybe God as well. You know, whatever shows up for you in that, that's what you really want to tap into. You know, use that in your morning grounding. Use that at your evening bookend as a reminder of your personal North Star and as a bit of as a way to tap into your inspiration for making a small shift and a small shift and a small shift over and over and over again.
I love that. I could probably then talk about all that with you for another hour, but we don't have another hour. But that was so good. I talk a lot about intentions here, and I like the quote, "Your intentions are a hill of beans." So then I say, let's climb those hills together, because your intentions are good, but they get you nowhere. And that's the second time you used intentions. We have good intentions. Most people do. But if you don't put action to them and you don't know the right action that's giving grace to you and your body and your situation, then you're not going to get anywhere. And so I love that vision casting and exercise. So yes, please do that. Follow her advice. Okay. So where can the listeners get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, you can find me on Instagram at Well Empowered, and you can find me on my website, Well Empowered, WELLEMPOWERED.com. And if you heard something useful in this conversation today, I really invite you to schedule a complimentary consultation. Let's connect live. I'd love to learn about more about you and your health journey and see if there's a way that I can contribute to you living that vision you have for yourself.
Yeah, perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Shan. It's really been a treat.
Hey, Wellness Warrior. I pray that blessed you. And if so, it would bless me big if you would write a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Not only would this make me super happy, but it will allow for others to find this show too. Also, I love to chat over on Instagram, so make sure to take a screenshot, share to your Instagram stories, and tag me at @TheShanWright so I can see it and we can keep chatting and bring other moms to chat with us. Until we get to chat again, mama friend, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace.